Hello everyone and welcome to Darkest Hour, and yes, this is still just a Hearts of Iron 4 mod. We're not playing a different game, though it may present that illusion temporarily. Has a very different title screen, and instead of seeing the leaders, we see their capital cities. This is also kind of funny. You can see a preview of the focus tree. It can't actually render it in-game. I believe this is just pulling up a JPEG from the internet to give you a preview of the tree, which is cool. That's a very smart idea. I kind of wish all mods did that, but it's not too necessary, I guess. As for right now though, as you can see, only the majors have focus trees, and Poland and Ethiopia have small ones. And to start things off, no, this is not actually an alternate history mod. This is a historical mod that just starts the game 3 years earlier. There's another mod that does this too. It's an older mod. It's called like Gathering Storm. Well, no, the Gathering Storm like the actual setting in Hoi4 that you choose to start at 1936. The other mod I believe is called Before the Storm, and while Before the Storm focused more on alternate history stuff, this mod I believe only features historical content, so you only have the historical option with like minor differences. Like in the US, of course, you can elect ALF. I don't have historical AI on, so I assume something crazy will happen if it's not set to always be historical. As a nice touch, though, they could have easily had FDR start out as president, but they do accurately have Herbert Hoover as president, even though FDR has already won the election and will become president in 20 days from when this starts. And I don't know what this is. System offline. I don't know what system is going to be online there eventually. I guess we will see. In terms of mechanics, this is no TNO in how it completely changes everything. The mechanics are mostly vanilla, just with a new coat of paint. Like the research is not quite vanilla research, but it's similar enough that it's not crazy different. Like you can recognize the layout, of course, of a lot of these trees, though they're all a bit unique. Like the train research tree is exactly the same, it's just vertical. And in addition to the game starting 3 years early, the research goes a bit further. Not like Road to 56 further, but almost to 56 on some of these trees. Agriculture is an interesting technology tree, though. That reminds me of Old World Blues. That's the only other mod I can think of that features an agriculture tree. As France, we're a bit ahead of time on most technologies, so I'm just gonna go ahead and research one crazy far ahead of technology. You also know this is a very serious mod because the Channel Islands exist. They made Gibraltar a bit more small. Still not realistically small, but more realistic than vanilla, which vanilla is kind of out there. We also can only use 10 civilian factories per project, and let's see, is trade different? Trade is still 8. One less thing to be confused about later on. I have no clue what this is. Are these rations? Oh no, it's a money. Oh no, not an economy mechanic. Funnily enough though, you make money from unused civilian factories. So what, are we just supposed to not use these civilian factories? I guess honestly that doesn't really make us enough money to matter. Oh, okay, maybe this is a kind of complicated economy system. I didn't realize that this tab here existed. Guess we could just increase the taxation level for now, but it's going to decrease construction and political power gain. It could decrease social spending, but that's just going to decrease political power gain too. And this is maybe the most important one because it's the one that costs the most. Decreasing military spending doesn't seem to have any negative side effects besides side effects on our army. So as long as we're not at war, it doesn't really matter that much. We need some political power though, but then I'll immediately decrease military spending. Okay, and we'll get Edouard Daladier to get us some political power. I really will do anything for political power at this point. And it is important too that we proactively increase our military spending when we need to, because we can only change it once every 60 days. So this could be very bad if I forget that military spending is a thing. And side notes too, there aren't bizarre generals in this mod. Just once a month I add some of my top patrons as generals in one of my videos. Don't worry, all of the generals I'm sure are more than historical, the ones that are actually from the mod. And we'll start spying on Germany too, because why not? Wow, and we can reorganize the wheat market to change the impact of unemployment that's currently plus 150% by negative 5%. I feel like that's such a minor amount that it won't affect anything. So be it. And I balanced my budget just by deleting a majority of our military, because unless there's some sort of mechanic where Germany will declare war on us if we're not very strong at an earlier date, I think we will be fine for a while. And I would prefer to build up my military from scratch anyway, because a lot of the divisions we start with are kind of chaotic. You also can have 10 support companies in this mod, so it is going to get a bit crazy. We'll see what happens though. Oh, we unlock a budget austerity decision. Maybe we should have just used that instead of deleting our entire army, but I'm going to stick with our choice there. Okay, I tried to do budget austerity, but then the parliament didn't support the law. We lost all of our political support, and now we have to get a new leader. I guess we'll get this guy. Yeah, that wasn't fun. There was a 50% chance it happened, and it happened, so oh well. Can we still keep doing it though? Will we just keep cycling through more and more leaders? That'll be fun. That's the France Hoi4 experience. Also, a nice part about this mod too is that George V doesn't immediately die when the game starts. You can have him as the king for a few years. Okay, we've got another new government. This is going to happen quite often. We definitely need to stop doing the austerity thing though. That isn't helping. We're even being locked out of some of our focuses because of low support. Okay, never mind. Doing this focus gave us the popularity we need to do this focus, so we'll go ahead and do that. And a movement has begun to reform the Constitution of France. I assume it stems from the constant changes in leadership. We have 100% reform progress though, so now we can do this focus and reform our country. And hey, we've done it. We've made it to January 1936, the date the game normally starts. A lot longer to build up, though we didn't really accomplish that much in those extra 3 years. Probably because we're put in a situation where we're forced to not make a ton of progress, otherwise it would make the game way too hard for Germany. Looks like the US is improving relations with us, and FDR is wearing a top hat. That's nice. Also, this started, so yes, things are pretty historical. And it appears the Popular Front is going to win the election, though I think they might be forced to be able to win the election. I don't know, maybe if you do this other path, they won't win. They're probably going to win this time around, and that's what historically happened. We also have a lot of decisions that instead of requiring political power, require money to do, like developing certain regions, fortifying certain areas, though strangely, some of these decisions require that we have money to do them, while others don't require we have money and just take the money away. The Maginot also isn't completely built up. We have to do decisions to build it up the rest of the way. I don't know if I will worry about that. Maybe. Getting this infrastructure is probably more important. Okay, and yes, the Popular Front wins. We now have more focuses that we can do. I might just cancel this focus and immediately go into the new ones. We can do everybody's favorite focus, devalue the franc, and then maybe we can finally fix this. And by fix this, I mean our terrible war support and economic situation. I'm finally putting together some semblance of an army, so hopefully it won't be too terrible. I just need to remember to increase funding. I feel like I'm still going to forget that. If I do, this will be a very, very short playthrough. Hopefully that does not happen. And like normal, the Spanish Civil War happened and it ended pretty fast. Also, the Popular Front collapsed. We weren't even close to getting to the point where the Popular Front would survive. We had to get employment below 2.5%, and it's still 8.5%. I think it's closer to where it started than below 2.5%. Either way, we're fine. We're pretty used to changing presidents. All will be okay. I've also started finally making some new divisions. Things are going well. We still aren't making enough money though, to the point where we can field our entire army and pay them a good amount. I don't know if we're ever going to have enough money to do that, really. And I'm 5.5 years into the game and I just realized there are these state decisions we can can move our capital to any state we want. That's fun. And claim any state we want. Yeah, I think the true capital of France should be like Calais. It'd be much more difficult to not capitulate to Germany, though. That might be a good idea, though, to move it to something over here where Germany is going to have a more difficult time getting to, though I assume the victory points will stay the same, so it might not matter. Maybe just a supply aesthetic thing. Okay, yeah, about this being historical, I don't think this is very historical. Germany's at war with Italy in 39, and the Sudeten crisis hasn't happened yet. Maybe historical focuses do matter still. And since this is historical, we literally cannot do anything until Germany declares war on us. And now that I speak of it, here it is. And with Germany at war with Italy, I'm not going to leave the Czechs to their fate, even though the British want to. We're joining in, and we can move these troops off of the Italian border because Italy is on our side today. We cannot invite them to our faction though, so that is sad. We will join this war though. We are now in a defensive war. We can even invite Romania, which we will do. France mobilizes, tension increases. Who else can we invite? Yugoslavia? We really are making the full little entente here. Only if we could invite Italy. We even unlocked a new secret focus branch. General mobilization. Let's do it. Let's form the war government. I was already smart and I increased our military spending once a while ago, so we can do it right now and go onto full military, well, not full military, but just normal military spending. And since we're doing it this way, no real need to protect Belgium. We're just gonna go all in. See, this may have been a very, very long game, but this is going to be a very, very short war. Or maybe not. They built the West Wall and we're not able. Also, Poland ceded Danzig. This is not the situation to do that. Bad idea. Maybe they were just like, we'll give it to them. France is about to liberate it anyways. Poland, if they just joined us, this would already be over. It's fine though, I forgive them. And I'll probably end up giving it back to them anyway. Or maybe I'll make a giant free city of Danzig French puppet state. And we did it, we're gonna be home by Christmas. Except for one small issue. Molotov, my arch enemy, has taken over the Soviet Union and joined Germany's faction. I know, this is terrible. I guess we're going to Moscow. It's time to avenge Napoleon. The Soviets don't seem to have many divisions, so I think we should be able to actually do this. The little entente. Maybe by Christmas next year we'll be back from Russia. Anyways, we've kind of hit a wall with the Soviets, so I'm going to call it here. Since the game started 3 years earlier, this is kind of the equivalent of mid-1943 and the game isn't running so fast. I also think we've experienced most of what the mod has to offer. These have been the divisions I have used. I don't know if they're good just because I have never played this mod before, but they seem to have worked pretty well. Or it might have just been, this entire situation. Anyways, I'll include a link to the mod if you want to check it out yourself, and I'll see you all next time.